Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Podcast Beyond.
Beyond.
Very nice. I'm Jeremy Dunham, editorial manager of IGN Games, and today I am joined by editor-in-chief of the IGN PlayStation team, Chris Roper.
Welcome.
And we've got editors Greg Miller and Jeff Haynes.
What up? How's it going?
And we also have our brand new associate editor, Mr. Ryan Clements.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
This is your first time on an IGN podcast.
Yes, it is.
You excited?
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I hope I live up to the expectations.
Before we
Are
hired
there
you,
expectations?
yeah.
I just gave his intro a 6.5.
Okay, very good.
Before we hired you, did you listen to the podcasts?
Yes, I did,
Really?
and I enjoyed them.
Which is
Yeah.
your favorite one?
I like the first one because that I was surprised by when Greg started singing at the end.
Really? Well, are you still surprised when he sings at the end now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to hear him sing.
Do you know what his song is going to be this week? He keeps it a secret from
Yeah,
everybody.
This one is a good one. Like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I went in and did like the actual verse beforehand and customized. Oh, it's gonna be
So
good.
you have a remix and everything?
But it's not the one we talked about.
No,
The one that-
I have one opus we're gonna work on where I'm gonna
All
bring
right.
everybody in.
Good.
So-
I'll
so-
help you with that. I mean,
So,
okay.
so here's a hint for you, Ryan, because you're saying that you enjoy all of his songs. When
Right.
you're actually in the our little podcast room booth thing,
Yes.
you need to take your headphones off because
Right.
it gets crazy.
I'm not
Okay.
afraid to go hit
It'll
those
be
notes,
nuts.
ladies.
No, I mean
He will crank it.
it works out for the listeners, but for everybody here in the room, it's
It's a pain.
it's hurtful.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think we have to actually hear Ryan give us a good Beyond because I haven't think that I've heard one yet. I
Yeah.
don't think he's done one.
Like
Let's hear
right
your
now.
Beyond.
Right
Yeah.
now?
Go ahead.
Beyond.
Not bad.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Little
Gotta
Frankenstein-y.
Good time.
All right. Well, everybody knows what's going on this week. It's post E3, so that's going to be our big subject. But before we get to that, it's the old Roper Report.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
What's going on in the news, buddy?
Well, I mean, we just got done with E3, but already there are one giant megaton with Peter Moore leaving Microsoft, but days after he gave their main press conference deal. Peter Moore has gone to head up EA Sports.
My theory is he left Microsoft because EA saw him playing Rock Band. Like, we got to teach that guy how to play.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's gonna have to go rock out over there. You know what though? They at the Rock Band party at E3, he came up and he gave a second performance. He didn't pause it. He was much better then. So he sort of redeemed himself in that show.
And to be fair, a lot of people do kind of hit that pause button the first time they play with that guitar.
Yeah, yeah. So and you hit it when you play the drums too. It's easy to I clocked it once when I was playing.
Yeah.
I sang and didn't hit any start button.
Very nice.
Very
Is
good.
there a start button on the
Button
microphone?
on the microphone, Greg.
Yeah.
You
So-
got to use the control.
Yeah.
What else happened?
Let's see what else happened. At E3, we sort of learned that on the last podcast we talked about the PlayStation 3 price drop, where the 60 gig went down to $100 or down $100 to $499, and Sony introduced the 80 gig model at $599, which comes with MotorStorm. The catch that we learned at E3 though is that they are phasing out the 60 gig model and leaving only
Nice job, son.
leaving only the 80 gig model in the United States. Now, you would assume that they're not going to drop the price again, as soon as the 60 gig is phased out, which I believe is scheduled to happen later this year, say October or sometime.
Until supplies run out.
Until supplies run
Whenever
out.
that is.
Way to burn some of that
2012.
currency.
So really, come December, definitely by then, the PlayStation 3 will still be $599. You'll just get a little more for it. But in the meantime, the people that say, hey, that $100 is a good savings. It's a way to get them off the shelf. And that was my early synopsis. This is Sony trying to get say another 1 million units out there really as fast as possible, get them built up for the holiday sale, so that when people are going out and buying all these games and spending all this money for Christmas, the PlayStation 3 version of a cross-platform game gets bigger sales than it would have if it stayed at $599 flat the whole time.
Right.
So we'll see if that pays off for them.
Of course, that really, we should just go ahead and skip the Roper Report, the rest of it, because it all ties into our big subject anyway.
Yes.
Which was post-mortem at E3 and what happened. So I guess we'll just have an expanded one this week. E3 actually went very well for Sony. It's pretty much unanimous here in the office that Sony actually won the show, believe it or not.
They seem to be the
Deal
only
home.
company that tried to, they made new announcements, and the presentation was chock full of stuff. Microsoft had things like Scene It and Viva Pinata Party, that party game there.
Hey, don't knock
You
the
know.
P60.
Yeah,
The Halo 3
and
P60.
Nintendo had the Zapper, which is a piece of plastic, and they had Wii Fit, which is it's a giant version of the Wiimote, basically that you're standing on.
Did you try the Zapper, by the way?
Hell no.
I was playing
I did.
Umbrella Chronicles. I'm not sold on it. I don't
No,
like it.
not
But I
at
don't know
all.
if that's the controller's fault or the fact that Umbrella Chronicles is just really bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just the way they had it set up is it just didn't feel like a gun. Like
Yeah.
it looks like a gun, but then like I'm jerking it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it kind of takes away the
accurate,
functionality of the Wiimote and the nunchuck too, because like you have to set the Wiimote inside of it, so you don't really have like the tactile sense of actually using the Wiimote to do what you typically would do within any Wiimote game. So
what really
Well,
bugged me
it's
is
a
you had
piece
to
of
keep it
plastic.
close to your chest.
Yeah.
If you want to get any accuracy,
Yeah,
you had to
that's
hold
true.
it against your chest, right in the middle.
Yeah.
It's very
And
accurate,
little-
like a real gun.
Yeah,
right in the middle of the
exactly.
chest.
I know whenever
With
I
that
shoot a
kickback.
shotgun, I stick it right on my sternum and just pull.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but I
you can
mean,
break
but,
your ribcage.
but my point is though that Nintendo and Microsoft just sort of came out with like, here's more stuff that they could have announced at any time during the year, would have had the same amount of buzz. Microsoft did Halo at their thing, and Nintendo showed off more, Mario Galaxy and whatnot. So they had, newer showings of their big titles, but they didn't bring the guns like Sony has done better in past, but Sony had Killzone there for the first time. They announced Infamous. They had Echochrome shown, new Metal Gear Solid trailer. All of that stuff was way better.
Gran Turismo 5.
Gran Turismo 5. All of that stuff was way better than either of the other companies done. So I mean, Sony seemed to be the only one that actually tried to say we're going to take advantage of this time and we're going to make some new announcements and get people hyped up for games that maybe a year more out.
They really turned it around from last year.
Yeah, they really did.
I mean,
Yeah.
last year I remember near the end of the press conference, I did feel a little squirmy. I was, how long is this thing going? This year, I felt entertained the whole way through. I would never felt
Except for
bored.
Chewbacca. I was a little like, what the hell's going on here?
It was
But-
painful. to watch.
Luckily, I sort of avoided Chewbacca because I was updating our live blog the whole time we did it, so I wasn't really looking. So I would save that.
Which,
Dude,
by the way, if you want to relive that, go back to the blog and take an hour to read the whole thing. It's kind of like you're at the press conference.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just imagine. But you can download it too. We have it.
Yeah.
It's up there. And that was kind of a really crappy thing that happened. The first 20 minutes of the
Chewbacca?
Sony. No.
The live blog?
The first 20 minutes of the Sony feed crapped out for everyone. Every company that was streaming the thing, it just went out. In the first 20 minutes, they had a bad cable. Didn't really work.
Very good. Good
Yeah.
job, Sony.
But after that, everything worked fine. And then everyone started streaming it again. But then, of course, you could watch on TV with commercial interruptions if you wanted.
Yes.
And Ryan, seriously though, dude, you got to stop talking. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise, and you're just constantly
I'm sorry.
just chattering away.
I'm a chatterbox.
Yeah,
it's like
I've
a
noticed
broken
that.
record.
Hey, so here's something I'm interested. How, for you, kind of since you didn't start till this week, how was viewing E3 from the outside this year?
Well, considering I fell off the face of the earth when I had to move to California, I didn't really get a lot of exposure to E3 yet.
Okay, yeah.
So that's probably the wrong question to ask.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Well, now
enough.
that you're catching up afterwards, now that you're kind of getting in the office and seeing the aftermath as we talk about it, I mean, what do you take away from everything that we're talking about?
I'm really glad that Sony had a good showing. That makes me feel really good because I forgot which year it was when Sony just did terribly. I'm trying to think. It was either last year or the year
was
before.
last year.
It was
Last year. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, because the Game Developers Conference they did wonderfully on, and that was like the one where I felt like really confident with Sony again after they made a few slip ups. But yeah, the year before it was terrible, and so I'm really glad that they pulled out stops and got some new stuff out there, as Chris said. So. Absolutely.
Not to play non sequitur king, but what's the first review you've got him on? What's his first official review for the PlayStation team?
Well, he was going to do rugby, and then nobody really knows about rugby, so we're seeing who can do that. But
Maybe Persona, maybe.
I don't know, but I don't know. I think Jeff's going to have that one. Tomorrow, we're going to see if anything hits the PlayStation Store tomorrow, and maybe he'll do one of those. So
Don't forget, we got a bunch of PSN games sitting around. We should do some of those.
Yep. So yeah,
I was happy to be do something with those.
Yeah.
There
So
you
there's stuff out there.
Love to.
But I mean, getting back to the show in general, what do you think was the most important announcement that Sony made there?
PlayStation Portable Slim. Redefining what you think of the PlayStation Portable.
How slim is it?
It's not really
33% slim.
This is how well it went. He pulled it out of his pocket and then said, it might look the same, but that's not how you want to start something when you're redesigning something.
That was a Ridge Racer
They moved
moment
the
of the
little
show.
air vents that were on the bottom up to the top,
They also
so you can see two little holes now.
memory stick went from down here to up here, and
Amazing.
that's great radio, by
That's
the way.
it.
It went from down on your right hand side to the top of your left hand side.
But I think the most important fix of all that is not the small little fix that they made in the weight. It's the fact that you can actually take video now.
Yeah,
With
you can-
PSPs, so we can actually cover games.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Well,
Do you I mean, do we know for sure that's going to be an option? Because I
We
know
will
they
find-
showed playing video on it for sure.
We will find a way to make it work. If it's outputting a video signal, then we can take it.
They
Yeah, but
said
that's
they
only
said
in-
you can do games, pictures, whatever you want. It'll go. It basically turns off the screen of the PSP and routes it out through the cable. So no matter what you're doing, it'll work.
Yeah, that's going to be great for us as far as like an editorial purpose, but it's not necessarily one of those things that's going to be like extremely
Awesome for the
groundbreaking
people.
for like a PSP, unless you have that need to transfer whatever you have on the PSP.
Well,
to like the
see,
PS3
the
or
cool
TV.
thing is they also announced. I forget what the technical marketing term for it is, but high quality AVC playback, whatever that is. They didn't really give any specs on it. So I don't know if it's actually HD quality or if it's just DVD, which would still be a step up from what they had before. But if you can start getting really high quality video on your PSP, and you have that on the plane, but then when you go home, you can plug it directly into your HD TV, and it will look nice on there too. Then that now has doubled, what you can do before. Because with the UMD video, you'd get it and you'd be like, okay, I can watch this when I'm on the road, but if I'm sitting at home, I'm going to use my 50-inch TV and not my PSP, And so now if you can use the same video in both places, you'll feel much more likely to go get content for that. Now, I don't know if that means that they're going to be able to create, HD UMDs and have higher resolution video on there, because I don't know if the compression would fit. But, if you're picking up like an 8 gig memory stick, you can certainly fit a movie on there, and then you're off and running. And so that, I think, is a nice change.
But would you want to run a UMD movie onto a 50-inch HD TV? Wouldn't that just look...
If you have
that's
11
the thing.
UMDs sitting around your house, yeah, you do.
Well,
just
the-
spot swapping them back and forth.
if they get if it would fit, if they get HD video running on a UMD and then you can output it, then sure, I mean, it would look great.
Yeah.
But that's a question mark whether that would happen or not.
Did Sony have its own little green Halo 3 Xbox 360 unit moment, or no?
Chewbacca?
Probably the skins on
Yeah.
all the PSPs. I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean,
No, I like the fact that I can get it in silver now, man.
Yeah, well,
I don't think
it's
they
kind
did.
of shiny though. It kind of looks like a glitter PSP. I don't know about that thing.
that
It
doesn't
looks
really
good in
do that
person.
much.
I held one. It
It's
was
better
cool.
than the butt ugly white with black Darth Vader on it. That I didn't like
Well,
at
yeah,
all.
but I mean, like, there's part of the whole thing where it's almost like, if I want something that's going to be in color, I'll just like get like a can of paint, go to an art store, and find out what's not going to necessarily mess up the
You won't do
equipment.
that could be a
and paint it.
feature story. We could send Jeff to an art store and he could customize like 5 PSPs. Mm-hmm. Consider it a future assignment.
How would you not destroy one by spray painting your PSP?
You
That's
just
part
have
of
to
the story.
take away like
The
part of the
gauntlet has
shells
been
and work
thrown.
on it, but I mean, like part of it,
Phone me on.
like the thing that really was kind of a little bit disappointing with some of the announcement with the PSP was where they were saying it's got better battery life, and then they went, oh wait, it's actually the same battery, it just uses completely different cycles on the battery, so you're not really like accessing the battery as much as you would normally, so you're not draining it as fast. So it was almost like an immediate retraction of something that they said on stage, which everybody was like, wait, so you've already started retracting a few things with the PSP in like the first few minutes that you've already announced it. This is a really good move. I mean,
I look at it as a positive, though. If we're still squeezing more battery life out of it, that's a positive.
yeah.
No matter how they do it.
part of it's just like it's just going like I guess however they use the flash memory, it's actually like preloading things in, so like it doesn't have to access the disk as much, so it saves like the battery from being drained faster.
So here's what I think the negative of this whole thing is. Okay, so the redesigned PSP, it's not going to make anybody, maybe 5 people, run out and rebuy a PSP if they already own one.
Hey,
and if you
Family Guy discs.
Yeah, and if you don't have one, maybe you'd be like, okay, the TV thing, is cool and it's lighter. Okay, cool. So you get a better system when you go and buy it, even if you're not going to use the features. But the problem, I think, which may or may not resonate too big, is the fact that people were expecting a PSP redesign to hit at some point, and so they were like, what are we going to have in there? We're going to have internal hard drive, we're going to have a second analog stick, there are going to be more buttons, is the screen going to be different, blah, 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 all this stuff. Basically, people were trying to think of like the DS versus DS Lite. That was a major redesign how the system worked, and that didn't really happen here. And so, next time you go, hey, if there's once rumors start coming around, hey, Sony's getting ready to like re-release or like to release like the PS3 2 or whatever they call it in a couple of years when they slim it down, people will be like, well, whatever. The PSP redesign was a bunk basically. It was kind of the same thing. So they may not get excited about new news.
By the way, speaking of news, I would invite all of our listeners to go back and listen to our podcast last week, and I think all of you, except for Ryan who wasn't here, should give each other a pat on the back. Go ahead. There you go. You know why? Because if you listened to our podcast last week, we told you 95% of what was going to happen at that press conference.
Yeah.
Friggin' Nostradamus is in here.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas. We're betting the horses.
Go back and listen to it again and then compare it to what happened, and you'll see. We warned you. So remember, this is your PlayStation team. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on them. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
There's a little plug, from me to you.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the games, man. I mean, the games are really what they came hard with. Mm-hmm. And that was what impressed me most, was what they're coming out with. Greg, what do you think was what impressed you out of all the games?
Obviously, the Metal Gear trailer. Just being a fan, it was good to see it again and have it not pushed back horribly until, it was at least Q1 of 2008. It wasn't Q4, which, is always your fear.
Something else we told you was going to happen.
It looked good. Yep. And I like Infamous. Infamous looked good, too.
Oh, Infamous looked awesome,
Yeah,
man. I can't wait to play that game. It looked like a cross between Second Sight and Crackdown.
And I think it has a little bit of Knights of the Old Republic feel in there.
Yes.
It sort of seems like you have Jedi powers, and you can be good and bad. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
And Sucker Punch is a great developer, so.
Yeah, I was actually blindsided by the fact that was like, it said Sucker Punch, and I'm like, cool. I don't expect Sly Cooper, but I expect some sort of like
cartoony
thing, maybe some sort, something kind of like Ratchet, maybe, whatever. And then they came out with that, and I'm like, that is awesome. It's like totally stylistic. It's a very mature game. It looks like, and you have, Sly Cooper. The one problem I have with those games is that they're very, very linear. You basically go from point A to point B, and there's no deterring. But this game looks like you have choices, and you go and do whatever you want, and you're free to like go down a path different ways. And so,
now, Chris, I remember when we were sitting there watching all those trailers, I looked over at you when the Gran Turismo 5 trailer went up, and your eyes got as big as I've ever seen them. And I look over at you, and you just shake your head like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm a lot of people probably know I'm a massive Gran Turismo fan, and I said in the last podcast, I was like, I really hope that they. I think I've been saying it for a couple weeks now, but I really hope that Sony would do that, and there it was. The beginning had to be fake because it looked too good, but the actual the in-engine racing stuff looks fantastic. And then apparently Prologue is coming in October, at least in Japan. So sooner than I would have expected. I thought maybe it would have been a Christmas gift since they gave out HD last year, but so it's even sooner than that. So maybe we'll actually see Gran Turismo 5 by like next summer, which would be, I don't know, it's possible. Kind of amazing.
But you're getting excited already.
Because you know what? Like those games are always amazing, but they always take forever. And I was kind of expecting to see it like late 2008, maybe even 2009. And so if we get it like mid 2008, that's pretty awesome.
What's so good for you, Jeff?
Kind of like Greg, MGS4. Like if there was a moment that you kind of saw that with Roper with Gran Turismo, it was probably the same with me for MGS4. That Vamp Raiden fight was freaking insane. Like I think I literally like smacked Clayman a couple times and just went, "Holy shit! Did you see that? Did you see that?" Because it was just like insane, and it felt like a Clash of the Titans for this really odd moment because Raiden has always just been kind of this character that people are like, "Oh God, this guy sucks."
I always liked him.
Well, you're like one of the few. You're one of the few, but he never really had that much pull amongst most fans, and then
silver hair is pretty cool.
The fact that the fact that he popped up in the original trailer, and everyone went, "Holy crap, he could actually be cool." And then you saw this fight, it was like, "Holy shit, this guy's gonna be awesome."
See, I called it.
Oh, wait a second! Now the new guy's being Nostradamus over here.
Well, what game did you not see that you really liked?
Wait. Hold on. No. I was going to ask, someone said that someone played Little Big Planet, which has been my game that I've been sweating bullets over myself. So do you want to talk about it? Have you talked about it already or no?
Not in the podcast, no. I talked about it a lot in the preview. I'm really impressed with it. I think it's a great little game already, and it still doesn't come out for another 2 quarters or so.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Did it control well? Was it?
Well, that I think is its biggest problem. Is it's always been a little floaty. I played it before back in during the PlayStation days. Did you guys, any of you other guys, get to try it?
I watched a fair bit of it.
I've watched a lot.
Well, it is a little bit floaty in the control. Well, hey, I don't cover PlayStation games anymore, so now I'm just going to watch over your shoulders.
A quick note: do you want to explain if are you staying on or not, or what?
On what, IGN? I will
Beyond?
be working. Yeah, I'll be staying on Beyond for a while.
Cool. You're a moderator, right? That's the deal? Cool.
Yeah, I can be here and ask you the questions. You guys can answer it. Because eventually I'm going to run out of PlayStation knowledge as I get further and further away as time
And then we
on.
shall teach you.
Exactly. And I'll be like, oh, really?
The student
Nice.
is becoming
And
the
then I'll go to
master.
lunch.
Then you'll fire us. They know too much.
No, I won't do that. I like you guys too much.
Aw, even
Well,
this kid?
Schmoopy.
The new guy?
Well, jury's still out.
I have yet to prove myself.
But getting back to Little Big Planet, it's
Yes.
always been a little floaty, and so
A
they
little
still
big floaty.
There you go.
Sorry.
And they definitely need to work on that. But what they showed, they really showcased the whole design aspect of the game this time, and it's really easy. You just hit a button, a little menu comes up, and it's themed to whatever stage you're playing on. So if you're in a graveyard, you're going to get a bunch of spooky stuff, and you can build levels in a matter of minutes, and you can do some really crazy stuff. And the whole thing is physics-based, so you can really just kind of mess around and have fun doing nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's what really is going to appeal to people in the long run, is the fact that you can do whatever you want with it.
Cool.
And just upload random levels. It's really cool.
Well, I think that's actually like kind of was one of the themes in a way almost of the conference, because they're talking so much about like things that you could actually do with a lot of the games that were going to be coming out. Like you had UT3 and the whole like mod situation that they were setting up, where you could literally bypass PCs. You had like people talking about how you could do different things with Pain or some of the other like PlayStation
Network
or network elements.
Yeah.
You have the whole home situation where they were just showing off like some of the very early things that they were doing in the beta. I mean, it
Which, by
seems
the
like
way-
customization and building things are going to be a
By
huge
the way, the
part of it.
bowling at home is boring as hell. Man,
Is
no,
it
you just
that
click
high
it.
impact bowling or
No,
whatever?
no,
It's different. It's not high
High
velocity.
velocity seems kind of cool, but the one at home sucks, man. You just like you set your dude up, press a button, then the arrow, like the aiming arrow, goes back and forth, and you just time a button press, and then the power meter comes up and you press it. It's like it's like the old
Free throws. It sounds like old free throws.
yeah, it's kind of like that thing where or that old what's it called? They made Budweiser bowling out of it back in the arcade, but there was other versions of it. But yeah, I mean it's like a 1980s bowling game basically.
I do like the new environment, though. The fact that they
Atari
moved it a
bowling.
little bit more open space, the outdoors.
You know what that reminds me of? As soon as I saw that, I was like, holy crap, Back to the Future 2, when that giant-ass shark
Yeah.
comes out and
Yeah.
they say that the Cubs won the World Series, it reminds me of that area, except that nobody's on a floating skateboard.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to play that level.
I need to get me that Ratchet outfit, though, that they had the skin in.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Jack that was wearing it, or was it Kaz?
No, that was Phil.
Yeah, it was Phil.
Phil, that's
did
right.
that and switched to like F1, then
Motorstorm
started
thing.
Motorstorm and
Yeah.
switched back.
Man. So you never answered my question, dude. What game are you looking forward to that's coming out this year? Little Big Planet's an 08 title.
Is Super Stardust 2 going to come out anytime soon?
Super Stardust 1 just came out 2 weeks ago.
Because that's what I would most look forward to.
I like that game a
But,
lot.
yeah, no, that's what I've actually been compulsively playing recently, even though it's old hat. But
Any games you guys were disappointed in? First party type?
I had my hopes up to see that DC Comics MMO. Because when we got there was that guy, one of the Sony guys was walking around in a Flash shirt. It was a black shirt with the Flash symbol on it, and it said Sony Online Entertainment on the sleeve. And I was like, oh, we're going to get something. And we got nothing.
Well, you do have Comic-Con coming up.
I know. And
Yeah.
I will be there.
Yeah, I
Excited.
I actually talked to
Huge
them,
twins.
and they were playing their cards very close to the vest, but a large amount of it they were saying was coming out at Comic-Con.
Cool.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like they were saying something. They had the air that they were going to release.
Exactly.
something,
I don't,
and
you know,
then
I
they
was like,
didn't.
oh.
oh wait, when's Warhawk coming out? Do we
Comes
know?
out end of August
August.
last week.
Okay, so then that's the answer to your question.
That's when you're looking forward to?
Yeah, that's the actual game that I'm
Cool.
looking
I mean,
forward
we've
to.
only been playing that for a few months, but that's cool.
Well, it's not my fault I couldn't get into the beta. They didn't send me the invite. They don't like me. I like them.
Well, I hope they like you, because we hired you to interact with Sony all
You're
the
going to be working
time.
with them soon enough. You know,
yeah,
the one that,
once they get to know me, they'll like me.
the one
Hopefully.
that actually disappointed me was DMC4. They've been showing the exact same
Yep.
footage for months now, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? It's beautiful, it's great, it plays well. Like by this time, like you've gotten every single like strategy that you need to go through and tear through those levels now. But it's like, come on, guys, give us something more. Like,
Well,
give
the
us
good news
something.
is that everyone out there can play the same damn demo we've been playing for 3 months, because that's the one they're going to put out there as the public demo,
exactly.
which is definitely coming to Xbox, and they're in negotiations for a PlayStation demo, which will also be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the PlayStation version is actually the only one anyone's seen. The next time they're going to reveal the game will be the first time anyone's seen it actually on a 360.
Right.
So finally, everyone can go crazy and start comparing them and say, look what each system does better. You know what I was disappointed in was the fact that we didn't get to hear anything in a lot of the games. I was hoping they'd just mention a little bit on like Africa and 8 days and, get away. A lot of these games they hinted at a long time ago, and we just sort of disappeared.
Yeah, Getaway. That'd be a good one to hear.
Yeah. I guess it's next year, or maybe, PlayStation Premiere had a lot of good stuff, too, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that almost ties into E3. It was so close.
Yep. What I think was kind of funny from that end was, even here, unless you heard something that you didn't bother to tell anybody and thought you did or went crazy or something because of E3, I don't think the only time that I had actually heard that Premiere was coming was when Kojima was on stage and he gave the Metal Gear trailer, and said it's going to be
next week?
Yeah, it's going to be shown next week at PlayStation Premiere, and everybody was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then, like the day before it went up, our Japanese correspondent at Noop sent us an email, and he's like, "I have no idea what's happening here. Nobody's telling me anything." And then 24 hours later, he's got about 50 stories.
I know. He's like, "Help me!"
The whole thing it came out of nowhere, and we didn't know what was happening on our end, but a lot of stuff did come out of it.
PlayStation Meeting a few years back was the same way.
Yeah, but at least that one we kind of knew was going to happen and stuff. This one sort of seemed like it just sort of, they were like, you don't care because it's E3, but a ton of stuff came out of there. New assets for stuff they just released. They released extra Gran Turismo shots. They released, there's a bunch of game announcements. They announced Tekken 6 is going to be online.
Dynasty Warriors 6.
Metal Gear Portable Ops Plus.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff came out of that thing.
You should be the new voice actor for Snake.
You guys covered that event very well, I just want to say.
Oh, thank you. That was
I think you guys will still.
Yeah.
Anoop, wherever you are, in Japan, eating noodles.
I'm giving you a thumbs up right now.
By the way, Anoop has a unhealthy obsession with noodles.
Like ramen or just noodles?
Like instant noodles?
Like any noodle. He's like, ooh, noodles. It's crazy.
I like instant noodles.
There's this restaurant back home called Nothing But Noodles.
Really?
Noodles.
We should check that out.
Noodles.
Guess what time it is?
It is 5:15. 5:16.
No, it's Pick of the Week time. Pick of the Week.
Damn.
By the time people read or listen to this, they're not going to even know what time it is.
Maybe they'll think it's 5:15.
Well, I'm
You
saying
broke the fourth wall.
I'm saying right now, in our time, nobody knows what part of the world we're in. We could be on a jet plane flying over top of, Sydney right now.
Pay no attention to the the Brisbane address on our business cards.
Brisbane is in Australia.
That's true. And we do have an Australian office.
Hell yeah.
So, Pick of the Week this week is very unusual. Chris, take this one away.
So, Pick of the Week by rules, we generally try to go for a game that, was just came out that's, very fun to play. But in the circumstances where there aren't any fun games out or maybe big demo hits, we'll pick something else. And so, for this week, there wasn't a whole lot going on because of E3 happening, but there were trailers and demos and stuff. And the most impressive trailer that hit the PlayStation Store was the Metal Gear Solid trailer. So we're going to pick that as our pick of the week. So if you have half an hour to only do one thing for gaming this week, aside from the hour that you're listening to this podcast and the other 5 hours you're reading IGN, go ahead and download the Metal Gear Solid trailer because it's totally awesome.
And it is on our site in HD. So
it is on there also, yes.
It's awesome. Even if you see it somewhere else, it doesn't matter. Just go see it. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Have we figured out what timeline this is? Is this like the latest entry? Like in
it
the
is
timeline?
the end.
This is the end.
This is the end.
It is the end of Snake.
So it's not like they're gonna fool you and say, "Oh, and this is a prequel."
No, part of it is because all the characters that they actually introduced in previous ones are in this one, and they're noticeably older. So it's one
Maybe
of those.
they time traveled.
They could time travel, but then again, I have a feeling every fan would rise up and kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, when Kojima tells you it's the end, this is wrapping up every single loose end from every single story. Unless you decide to break out another portable ops, then you're not going to come close to getting
Triple
to another.
ops.
Yeah,
I would
triple
play that.
portable
With
ops.
bacon.
I would play
You're not going to get to another prequel.
Binary code.
Yeah, another prequel before Outer Heaven and everything else.
My question is this. Everybody refers to the Vamp Raiden fight. Are we confirmed that's Vamp?
That's Vamp, dude.
Okay.
Because that's the same character who had the bullet shot right between the eyes by
No,
Snake.
I know who came. I know who he is.
Spoilers.
Dude, if they haven't
I was
played it
waiting for
now,
them all to be out and
if
play
they
them
haven't
in
played it
order.
now, they deserve to be shot.
What
It's
if
a
there's that
classic
one
game.
guy who had just picked up a PS3 and never played the series before? It's like, you know what? I'm going to listen to the podcast.
and track down an old
Right.
game from the PlayStation
Exactly.
era?
And so now it's just ruined for
Bargain
him.
bin?
If you're that guy, send Jeff an email. He won't care.
Do it, yeah. I sure as hell won't.
Just post on the message board.
Reader mail time. Rogue Leader is becoming a fast friend here. Seems to have a new letter
target
every week.
I can't see him.
Stay on
Wants
target.
to know, where were all the MIA PS3 titles shown announced in the past that we have not heard from in a long-ass time? For instance, this is feeling a deja vu here. The Getaway, one of the first titles shown. Africa, the mysterious title Sony won't ever comment on. Fifth Phantom Saga, the Team Sonic game, has vanished into thin air. 8 Days, cool-looking game from last year that hasn't been seen since. And any others that you yourselves might think of.
I bet Africa is like an elephant simulator.
Actually, I can tell you quite a bit about Africa.
Is it like Endless Forest where you play a deer?
The massively multiplayer screensaver social experience.
Yeah,
Social
yeah.
experience.
I did screw it up.
You're a deer
It's
with a
okay.
human face. It's so creepy.
Endless Forest, look it up.
Yeah,
It's
Endless
semen,
Forest.
And you
It's
can't
really
talk.
creepy.
Like, you
Semen
can't
with
do like
deer.
talking. You gotta go and
Just to be clear, it's not like Endless Forest. From
Thank God.
From what we know, it's going to be one of those type of games you're supposed to just play to relax more than you are to really kind of
Like flow.
yeah. We know that you are in control of at least one human dude, and that you've got a camera, but they haven't really said much more than that. And so hopefully they will elaborate on
Can you
it
get
more
crushed
because
by an elephant?
I don't know.
Because that would take away from the relaxing portion.
I mean,
of it.
I work with IGN editors every day, so I'm used to
Eaten by
dealing
jackals.
with wild animals. The Getaway, who knows? I'm sure that's coming though. It's a huge seller in the UK. Fifth Phantom Saga. There's a funny story about that one. Last time I called Sega last month, I'm like, so it's been 2 years since you guys have talked about Fifth Phantom Saga. What the hell happened to that thing? And they go, Fifth Phantom Saga? What the hell is that?
That's good planning.
That's the PS3 game you guys announced when they announced the system. I'm like, hold on, let's look this up. So I'm on hold for about 2 minutes, and they get back on like, I can't find a single person here who's ever heard of that game, knows what it is. It's not on any docket sheet we have. I'm like, so is it canceled? And they go, I don't know. Nobody here knows what it is to tell you if it is or isn't.
It's so secretive even Sega doesn't know about it.
I know. So Fifth Phantom Saga is a big mystery to everyone, including those involved.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 Days, can't wait for that one. I'm really interested based on that trailer. We'll see how much of it is actually in gameplay. But hey, man, Killzone actually lived up to the trailer. So
Yep, Killzone did.
maybe 8 Days can too.
That's one thing that we didn't talk about yet on the podcast.
No,
was
I mean,
Killzone.
I was proven wrong. I don't know how many of you guys didn't think it could do it either, but I was definitely proven wrong.
I didn't think it could do it.
Yeah, but last week we were talking about how, like, kind of like GDC, when MotorStorm, like, they released MotorStorm and I was like, nah, that can't be it. And then GDC, I was like, they might actually come close. So we talked about how, like, they could have done the exact same thing with Killzone. And surprisingly,
Yeah,
they
and
actually
they actually did
lived
it,
up
yeah.
to
But
it.
Killzone took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very
true.
impressive.
Yep.
Very impressive. Hey, man, what happened to the doing the one question at a time thing?
They didn't do it.
Damn it,
All
Miller.
right. Well, you've got the delete button.
Well, you read ahead. Why don't you just read the one you like?
I don't want to read ahead.
Eh.
All right, anyway, Rogue Leader has the second question. What's the deal with no Rumble and Gamerscore trophy announcements? We know both are coming, but neither are mentioned at Sony's conference. What gives?
Well, maybe the Rumble wasn't done yet. Maybe they want to. Maybe they want to wait until it's ready to launch, and they're like, "Hey, guess what? It's in stores tomorrow or something." Maybe it isn't coming ever. I really don't think that's the case, but obviously they're waiting for something to happen. Bear in mind that Microsoft just tried suing, or I guess didn't try, but they did sue Immersion a couple weeks ago for. I guess they were in some sort of agreement with Microsoft, Immersion and Microsoft, that their technology would be exclusive to them or some crap along these lines. It's all lawyer talk. I don't understand what they're talking about. But anyway, so Microsoft got pissed when Sony got involved, and now there was a lawsuit. So maybe that held them up. It could be any number of things. I really, really think we're going to see it at some point, and we're just going to wait until Sony's ready to do so. Maybe, you know what it is also? Maybe they don't want to have another 6-axis thing happen where developers are like, what? I don't know what that is. And so they're going to wait till developers have had it in their hands and their games, so they're going to say, hey, the controller's on shelves, and this game that comes out next week supports it already.
Watch this. Here's expertise at work. Ryan, was SOCOM Confrontation shown playable at any time during the show? It had an appointment for Livewire on Friday. It was taken off the schedule.
Yeah, remember he was moving.
Quick answer to that one is it was scheduled to be on IGN Livewire on Friday, and we got a call on Thursday apologizing profusely from Sony, saying, as it turns out, they didn't have it ready, and it didn't make any playable appearance at the show whatsoever.
Nope.
They just did the trailer, which is too bad because we were supposed to have some cool stuff on it. But maybe next time. Greg, Bethesda announced Oblivion Game of the Year for PS3 with Shivering Isles included. Does this mean that there's zero chance Shivering will be available separately as a download now?
For Sony?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. There you go.
There's
Next
your
question.
answer.
FF Obsessed 86 wants to know personal opinions on the games that were shown. What was your personal game of the show? We'll go in a circle starting with Hefe.
Ooh, that's actually a really good question. I personally am kind of split between Fallout 3 and Rock Band. Those two were phenomenal.
Neither of which were running on a PS3, by the way.
Yeah. But you know what? Like they were good enough that that kind of cemented the entire show for me. That was it.
Ooh, that actually. Let me cut this. We'll come back to this little roundtable thing here in a second. But that brings up a good point. Was at in the last podcast, I think I brought up and I was saying that I would hope that a lot of third parties would show games running on the PS3 to show that because in the past we'd seen most games running on 360. And so what ended up happening at the show was that a lot of the games that were on display in the Barker Hangar or in demos were actually shown on 360s, kind of like we'd expect, except that after Sony's conference, they opened up like this giant-ass just
arcade.
huge arcade room where there's probably, about 40 games on display. Half of them were from third parties, and all of them were running on PS3. So although stuff on the show floor was running on 360, stuff that we got to play after that was running on PS3. So I'd say there was an equal amount of big titles that were 360 versus PS3. So that came on pretty good.
Fun fact, also, IGN was the absolutely last publication to leave that arcade.
Really?
We were in there for so damn long that we actually left after a lot of the Sony folks did. And there were just people looking around. I was like, who are you? What are you guys doing here? They're the cleanup crew. I guess we should go. Mm-hmm. Did you guys try any of those fudge dipped cookies they had?
Yes.
No.
Yes, those were awesome.
Enormously long
cookie
sticks.
on a stick.
They're like 2-foot sticks, and then at the end they had a giant chocolate chip cookie that had been dipped in fudge, but no one was eating them. So there was this massive pile of sweets of Rice Krispie treats and these dipped cookies.
I didn't even know about this.
It's because they brought them out like right before everybody was supposed to leave, so everybody had already gone anyway.
See, I didn't know.
I loved them.
They made me a little sick afterwards. Oh, I'm sure you did.
Meanwhile, Nix and I split a bag of chips at the war room while I uploaded all the Sony stuff.
Rope, game of the show.
I'm in a three-way tie, basically. I think barely edging anything out was Fallout, but like right there, and any other day you asked me could be different, was Call of Duty 4 and Rock Band. Call of Duty 4 looks incredible, pretty much, and Rock Band, like I'm a huge Guitar Hero fan, and it's like, the next evolution of it. The drums in Rock Band are incredibly fun.
Drugs. The drums are awesome.
Yeah.
Greg.
Turok.
Are you now you've been on this kick all day during our
If you notice, though, everyone laughs at it who hasn't played it, and everybody who played it
I'm not laughing.
agrees.
I'm just making sure that you're positive in saying that that's
Well, my thing is that Fallout's a long way from being done. And so, I mean, it looked cool, yeah, but I'd really like to wait and see more on that.
Fallout and Turok are coming out the same quarter.
Well, yeah, I've played Turok, though, and I've run through levels and done stuff with it.
Gotcha.
Fallout, I just sat there and watched them do it, and the voices are all out of whack and stuff. I love the quiet Beyond. And then Rock Band, it was just too much Guitar Hero in my SingStar.
Beyond? Nice. For me, it's Bioshock and Fallout. That's my top two.
See, I totally ignored Bioshock because it's coming out in like a month, and I don't want to ruin any of it.
Yeah, I looked at it for a few minutes. I don't want to get spoiled because I can't wait till next month. And but in terms of PS3-centric stuff, I think Killzone really stood out. Really surprised me, and they were playing it on the stage, so that's a big bonus. It was a playable game. Yeah. Other titles worth mentioning, I think you all like these two. Burnout Paradise looks really sweet. Heavenly Sword really surprised me with how good it is. It's actually not just an arena fighter, which is nice to learn, with extra characters. So there's a lot of good games. Sony had a good show. SVT Tracer wants to know do we think there's any hope or think that this is the last E3? I did going in, but not anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think so. I don't know. It's weird because it sort of seemed like Nintendo and Microsoft were kind of holding back, and so maybe they would not do much stuff next year. And Sony was like, they had some new stuff, but not as big as they could have come out. And beforehand I was thinking it's definitely going to be dead. But the thing is, a lot of the PR folks that we talked to and a lot of the people in the industry were all pretty happy with how it actually turned out, aside from like the travel. But we're all happy with all the displays. It's much easier to see games. So if you have like the ESA coming in and they're saying, hey, how did the show go? Should we try to do it again? Everybody's going to say, yeah, it went pretty well. Let's tweak this and this and this. So I think you're going to get a lot of, internally from people that are involved with the show are going to give a lot of positive feedback. So I think it'll happen again.
Most likely. I mean, like, I think that the biggest thing that we ran into that was a pain in the ass was parking. Because usually, like, because we were situated a little ways away from the actual main sites in Santa Monica, we were down in Culver City, we had to deal with the 405 traffic, which just blew. And then once you actually got into Santa Monica, you had to either hopefully find some space at a hotel, which, like, filled up really, really quickly, or you had to find a parking garage. And that was the thing that really sucked. As far as everything else, it was really, really easy to kind of get in, see what you wanted to see or what you needed to see, and then head on off to somewhere else. And I think that's probably the thing that was really, really nice, is you didn't have to feel like you had to fight your way onto a system or fight your way onto a console to see whatever it was you needed to see. You could actually take a little time, like catch your breath if you had to like run from one spot to another because of an appointment, and then just see what you had to do. So that was really, really nice, and I think that's probably the thing that a lot of people really, really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Especially because you didn't like feel like you were getting deafened or that you had to like scream over something so you were losing your voice because the volume was cranked up to like 15 as opposed to 11. I mean,
Shakojin says Killzone 2 multiplayer. Not a question mark, just a statement.
Raises eyebrow.
It's a true statement, I guess.
It's in the game.
It's happening.
It's in the game. Sony wouldn't talk much about it. For those who don't know, Sony held a pretty kind of small party the night beforehand where they showed off an extended run through of the same demo they showed at the press conference, and at the end they gave a few bullet points, and they said that multiplayer is definitely in the game and they want to do a lot with it, but the details are being handed out for later. But it sounds like, from like their one line, pitch phrase or whatever, it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a while to learn on this stuff. It's a 2008 game.
Yeah, it's a little while off.
Woolly Ninja asks, personal opinions on Sony execs. Do they seem approachable, strange, weird, pissed off? Greg, you spoke with Jack Tretton.
He was very nice. He still kind of scares me because I personally think, even though I've got no one to confirm this, I think he looks like the leader of the others from Lost. so anytime I see him, I'm afraid he's going to toss me in a cell or start talking about my mom or something.
Produce your dad.
But other than that, he's real nice.
Why would you say that, Greg?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And Phil Harrison is a giant, so
Phil Harrison's tall.
Yeah.
I've always found them approachable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Phil Harrison is probably the guy that you're always a little bit cautious of because
he's so tall.
He is, and you're never quite sure.
Is he tall?
Because he always has the same look on his face. You're never quite sure if he's angry or happy or just whatever.
I think the interesting thing about him too is that when you're just talking to him, hanging out, they're normal people. They can turn off the PR part.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you have to go on the record with them, they're very.
Yeah, I would say that Sony has one of the most approachable groups of people that I've ever worked with in the industry. I mean, there aren't really any moments I can recall where I found it difficult to talk to anybody there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a plus for them. Super Ski 13 wants to know what's going on with the PSN store and the cross media bar. Are they going to fix or change them? And what's going on with Team Eco's new game? Well, I've already told you about Team Eco's new games. They're working on 2 of those for TBD time. So who knows about those? But what is going on with the PlayStation Network and XMP? I don't know what that means, really.
I'm really surprised they didn't announce some sort of like, even if it was just 2 seconds, and say, hey, look, we're revamping the store. Here's what it's going to look like or something. Because, I mean, all the meetings beforehand, GDC included, they sort of showed, hey, check it out. We'll be able to do, in-game video chat while you order a pizza and, all this kind of crap. And they didn't do any of that this year, which, maybe they kind of wanted to get to more exciting stuff and get away from that. But, I don't know.
Well, part of the whole blitz is, because I think, like, part of the biggest thing that they had announcement-wise was, like, the extension of home on, like, a cell phone. So it seems like it's possibly one of those things where they're not entirely sure what they want to do with the network store, but it's one of those things that they're like, putting some of the building blocks in right now, and maybe later on this year they'll go, like, hey, okay, so here's home, and you can do this with your cell phone, but you can also do that with the store, and you can do this, and you can do that. And it's just one of those situations where they're not really, like, willing to talk about all the ideas that they have for it, but they're probably, like, working on exactly how they're going to, like, sync it all up when Home winds up coming out in, like, September. And it's going to be probably completely revamped, so it actually is worth the time and the effort.
They're for sure working on a way for you to do PS Store on your PS Portal, PSP.
Yeah.
Right now.
2779 wants to know, Ryan.
Yes.
Out of all the games ever created, which one would you absolutely kill for to see made on the PlayStation 3?
Ooh, good question. That is a good question.
What's the good answer?
That's like
Miller to the point.
I'm trying, okay? That's like, I don't know, it's like bestowing the power of God on someone. So I don't want to overstep my boundaries. But I would say that if it was possible to do this and not mess it up, I would like to see either 6 or 7. With maybe just updated graphics. And
Final Fantasy you're talking.
Yes, of course. I assumed that.
Fans knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I'm just saying.
Like, they would have to retain everything about the original, and they would just want to make it spicier for the eye.
Stop with the Final Fantasy VII remake.
No,
it's killing us.
You realize that you just started a firestorm on the boards.
We get emails about these every week. When's the FF7 remake happening?
Well,
this is not a knock against you.
I know that it's not actually probably going to happen because the team is too afraid to touch it, right? I mean, like, because they don't want to ruin their masterpiece.
Oh,
but
they don't care.
Oh, they don't care anymore?
No, I mean, how many Final Fantasy VII spin-offs have you seen so far? About 1,000 in the last month.
But I liked some of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, way to go.
Okay. I'm the only one, apparently.
No, I mean, I liked
Dirge, actually.
I like Dirge more than most, too, so.
I mean, like, the gameplay was a little repetitive, but I thought that their execution on the story was just fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
good direction.
I really liked it. Yeah.
Nice style.
Absolutely.
I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I'd love to see them revisit Final Fantasy IV, Universe, or 6. But instead of retelling a story, why don't you pick up on those characters and see where they've been? I've already played that before. I already know what they're up to. It's not like remaking an action or an arcade game. I'd rather prefer to see what happened later. 5 years later, what happens after Cecil takes over the Kingdom of Baron, or what happens? That's right.
No,
That's
I
right.
didn't beat.
I was so close to
right. Hey man, everyone else is doing it. So yeah, that's what I'd like to see. But I mean, that's I hear you.
No.
So what would yours be then, if that's Ryan's?
What the game I like to see made more than anyone else?
Oh, wait. I thought we were just talking about, is it a remake? I thought the question was just more like, what would you want to see?
Re-updated.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'd like to see another boxing game because I'm addicted to boxing games, and I'd like to see one done the ultimate way. However, I've got such a huge idea of what the ultimate boxing game is, I don't think anyone will ever make it. So, that's me. Final question, Mr. Points. Go ahead, spit it out.
My Nostradamus pick was going to be that when you leave IGN in 12 decades, it would be to go make that boxing game.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would do.
I went on the record. Podcast Beyond, episode 4.
In 12 decades, huh?
Yep.
Thanks. In 120 years, I will retire. Chris, you might as well get yours in there.
Is that the
you know what? I mean, my ultimate remake game was kind of made a couple years ago when Firaxis redid Pirates. Pirates is my favorite game of all time. And, I mean, like the OG 1987 one. And they redid it very well. It wasn't perfect, but, that was kind of it, so...
I got a better one. Wait, can I slide something in here real quick?
Why not?
Just so I don't get flamed for the Final Fantasy VII.
That's too late.
I'm sorry. Amplitude. Because I would love either a remake or like just something on the PS3 that follows the line of frequency and amplitude. And
what if you could play
else.
Amplitude with instruments?
Oh, you mean like
Rock Band.
There
you go. Final question is Dolos wants to know, what are the chances of Gears of War going to PlayStation 3?
So awesome.
Epic may have developed the game, but I do believe that Microsoft owns the license and IP to Gears of War, so it's not going anywhere. So 0.
Yes.
So actually, I lied. There was one other final question that reader Jeremy Dunham wants to know. Ryan, this is your first week on the PlayStation team. Why don't you introduce yourself to our readers? Tell them what you're interested in, what you like to do, what your focus is going to be going forward, and
pretend you're looking for a date.
Do you like taking long walks on the beach?
Yep. Long walks on the beach. I'm into poetry, slow jazz.
Everybody always uses the long walks on the beach line. Nobody ever says I like to punch people in the face.
I don't like beaches, man.
I tend to stab people in the face with a broken bottle on occasion, but no.
I like to watch people go in and out of their cars. No, I mean, tell people about yourself. Let them know the real you, or the fake you, if that's you.
The fake me? Well, the real me is just a humble man, but a simple man. No. I like. Do you want me to talk about what games I like? What I want to do?
Sure, whatever. Up to you.
This is your time. It's so open-ended. It's so open-ended that I was answering a few of these questions on the boards like just a few minutes ago. Basically, I'm really into RPGs. I like fighters. action adventure. Basically, you name it. Unfortunately, as I was talking to Chris about, I'm not too keen on sports and racing. I'm just not good at them. So, but as for being here at the team, I'm really excited. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, as I like to call it. And I'm hoping that I can just cover as many good and bad games as I will be allowed to cover. I'm very excited.
Can you let them know a little bit about your background, where you come from?
Yeah, I'm originally from New York, which is why I apologize for falling off the face of the planet and not being able to follow your fantastic and spectacular E3 coverage. But
because New York is such an out-of-the-way place.
They don't have,
it's like a whole other country.
You know, they still dial up there. It's like a third
No, I mean, like, when you have to, like, get on a plane and move your entire life, get a new apartment, new car, all that stuff, yeah, it's pretty disorienting.
How much am I paying you?
Well, clearly I had some financial assistance from Mom and Dad.
Oh, there you go.
No, so I'm from New York. I just graduated University of Rochester, which is an incredible school. I'm an English major with a creative writing background, so I'm into just all sorts of different types of writing. I'm especially like gravitate towards like Shakespearean stuff, but I kind of highly doubt that I'll be able to employ my Shakespearean education when reviewing Rugby 2008, but that's okay because I think that torch is passed. Yeah, and then I really love it here. California's beautiful. San Francisco is awesome. I live in South San Francisco, so.
Why don't you just give out your address?
I'm going to give it out right now. Ready?
Phone numbers and everything?
Anything else you'd like everyone to know? Favorite game of all time? Single favorite game?
Yeah, like people are asking me that too, and that's really hard to choose. It's probably going to be one of the Final Fantasies, unless you're talking about like a multiplayer game. In which case, I really love like Amplitude, Guitar Hero. Let me see. I'm really into Halo also, but I suck at it now because I haven't played it in a long time. Because someone stole my copy of Halo 2 at college.
Oh, it's probably one of the Xbox guys here.
Doug? Well, they went to my college and they stole it.
To be fair, all of the Office copies of Halo 2 also were stolen by somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was the Xbox team.
No. Yeah, but this was years ago.
Yeah.
And none of the people that we expected took them don't work here anymore. So.
Yeah, so.
Worst game of all time?
That's tough.
That's a question.
I have an answer for this one.
Go for it.
The worst game I've ever played is Beyblade on the PlayStation.
Are you saying that because you had to review it?
I had to review it, but it's also the worst game I've ever played. I mean, there's the classics like E.T. and crap like that, which I have on my desk. But I mean, of newer games, when games aren't just like 5 pixels, the past 10, 15 years, say, Beyblade is the worst game I've played in recent memory. It's I doubt anybody's ever heard of this game, but basically it's like a kid's toy, sort of. The entire game is 2 tops, like spinning tops you play with when you're a kid, are thrust into a circular arena, and you have minimal control over where your top's going. You influence it, and whichever one flies out of the ring first loses.
There's an anime for it also,
yes,
isn't there?
so you can imagine how exciting it is to like move the analog stick and barely control anything on screen and hope that the other one goes flying out of this ring first.
Does it come with clips from the anime in it?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
That may be bad.
Because that would have made the game right there.
That may be bad, but just think about the potential treasure trove of suckitude you've got with those Phoenix games that we saw.
Oh,
that you need to order.
Yeah.
You need to get some of those.
Oh yeah, White Truck, or what was it, White Van Racer, and then there's
Furry Tales.
London Cab Challenge.
London Cab Challenge was horrible.
So we got to order some of those and check them out.
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to thank everyone on the boards who was giving me good wishes. I forgot to mention that before.
Oh, they'll turn on you.
They'll turn on you.
Yeah, like tomorrow it'll be like, F you, Clement, Stash IGN.
I'm not going to listen to the noob's opinion on this game.
What's your first review?
Everyone starts off as a noob at some point in their life. We're all born noobs, and then we become owners at some point.
I was born at the age of 25. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He reviewed 3 games in the week.
Beyblade was one of them.
You still haven't told us the worst game of all time.
I'm trying to think because, like, generally,
there's no time to think.
I haven't had an experience where I sit down and I say this is the worst game I've ever played. It's just like a game I don't really like.
Well, I'll tell you the answer. The answer is Rise of the Robots. It's pretty awful.
Rise of the Robots.
That's it. We're done. We got now Greg's parting segment. Do we have Beyond Annoying this week?
There was no Beyond Annoying this week. I think somebody might have tried again. Was this the first week? Did somebody try last week?
Yeah,
I believe
Agent Trav tried to.
Agent Trav's still trying. Yeah.
Agent Trav's been pwned. He doesn't need to be worrying about it.
Well, here's our rule. If you've been on Beyond Annoying, you're not going to be on it again.
Except the question. Oh, I'm stupid. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm beyond annoying this week.
But yeah, so for all you people who try to get on again, if you've only been on once, that's it. You're not getting on again.
Oh, see, I was
New
looking
rule
forward
that we
to
just
that.
instituted.
Awesome.
Try and make sure
suck,
pick somebody because I was looking forward to that segment.
Well,
that
they
was,
have to be bad. I don't want. There was one that was questionable, but I didn't want to start a feud.
Do it.
do it.
Do it.
Do it.
My song?
Do
You
it.
ready?
Do it.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
We're talking about
This
the
is
beyond
Greg
annoying thing.
taking us out. Go for it, buddy.
Now I'm just gonna drift away on this one, so you can just say your bye while I'm still drifting away. Okay. This song is from. This is a request from Stone Cold. Knows how he spells it. Called. It's "I Touch Myself" by the Divine.
Oh, nice.
I close my eyes and see Jeremy before me.
Oh, God.
Think I would die if Jeff Haynes was to ignore me. A fool could see how much I adore Roper. I get down on my knees. I do anything for Ryan. I don't want any other cast. When I think about Beyond, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want any other cast.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
Right there, Jeff.